4, 3, 2.
Hey, it's just like Ready Take Live, except for there's dogs barking in the background, your kids are banging on the door, and you can see the inside of your colleagues' homes. This is Remote Take Live.
Mics are hot.
Down on camera 6, playback.
Coming out of graphics.
Live all
and
around.
6 and 7 are
2. Audio
hot.
is speeding.
Hey, we're back. This is Ready Take Live. As always, I am one of your hosts, Aubrey. I am at a different station today, so I'm kind of remote, but not exactly. You're used to seeing me over there. But I am actually in front of one of our production bots, which is a box that we manufacture that you can catch out a studio demo from a couple weeks ago on. And I am going to switch the show through this and also add in a slideshow for the studio demo later. Surprise, surprise. I'll let everyone else intro themselves, but I have a quick question for them. When you work remotely, what room in your house do you prefer to set up in?
Hey everybody, Al here. How you doing? I hope everybody's staying safe at home. Yeah, I mean, I know, being in New York, I think we have limited space, so probably the edge of my desk. If I could fit a P-bot there and like section off a little, part of my desk at home, try to make it work. I don't want to use the countertop by my kitchen, with water.
I hear you. I like that without me being in your shot to block the screen, you can see the little you above your shoulder.
Yeah, there
side.
I am.
Hello,
Hey,
little
me.
Al. Hello.
I also don't have you to bump into, so I must be really happy about that.
You're welcome.
See the joys of working remotely.
What room do you like to work in?
Ooh, I'm gonna say the bathroom. No, I'm kidding. I like to. I like to work in my room because I have like a little standing desk thing. So I like using that. It's just not very wide, but it has a lot of open shelves, so I could kind of distribute machinery on it if needed. But yeah, that's in my bedroom. But I like my desk there, so I'm gonna say bedroom.
Very fancy. And as everyone can now see, the only person who is remote for this episode, she was lucky enough to stay home, is...
I thought we were all going to be remote.
Surprise!
As you know, we live in New York, so I have a studio apartment, and so the room that I set up in is the room. The room is what I set up in. It's the kitchen table, and honestly, if I had more rooms, it would probably still be the kitchen table because it's the center of the home.
That's fair. That's fair. I know everyone is really waiting for my response, so I feel like I should tell them. I like to clean off the sewing table in my room and set up there because I am an old spinster. Anyways... There's been a lot going on in the world, obviously. We hope you're tuning in right now safely and healthily. And if you have any questions, if you're new to Ready Take Live, if you've been here for a long time, always a reminder, please feel free to put chat questions below or to the side, wherever you're watching on Facebook. And let us know, if you have any questions about what we're talking about. If you're going a lot of remote right now, if you've got a lot of clients asking for remote, if you're looking for a company that can do remote for you, any questions like that, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and we are going to answer them at the end of the show. So we will move right along, and we'll start talking about some late night shows and how they've been dealing with remote.
Yeah, late night has been really surreal lately. I don't know if you caught Jimmy Fallon or Seth Meyers or Steve Colbert, but they basically found out during rehearsal or right before rehearsal that they would not be able to do their show. So a lot of them did things without an audience. Also, Pete Buttigieg was scheduled to take over for Jimmy Fallon, and he had no audience, so he had to quickly adjust to not having any crowd.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did not hear that.
Oh yeah, so it was pretty hilarious. And so I'm interested to see what's gonna happen with those shows. I mean, John Oliver did a thing that was just on a white set, and they all didn't use laugh tracks. They would have their team watch it to provide laughter, but it definitely left with a weird empty feeling. And so I think that just kind of
Questlove laughing in the background.
Yeah, that or the producers or whatever, just hanging out. So it was just really surreal.
I've seen a lot of them put their staff in, and it's I don't know. I kind of think not doing laugh tracks is the right call for this moment in time. I think to lean into it really is the right call, and we're kind of having that conversation with a lot of our clients too. You can't pass it off as the same thing. And so kind of leaning into whatever the experience is. I know Samantha Bee did it, and that she kind of had a bunch of bits with her audience about how they're all sitting 6 feet away and everything, and I thought it was good. I thought it worked.
Jimmy Fallon, or sorry, the Pete Buttigieg, Jimmy Kimmel takeover. Say that 5 times fast. He they like interspersed like little clips of people cheering. It was like a total joke, and that kind of worked because they just like had like like reaction shots and stuff like that from random things on the internet. So after that day, when they all found out they wouldn't be able to do their show as normal, this week we've been seeing Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon do stuff from home. So Stephen Colbert did this amazing thing I highly recommend watching. He did the whole show from his bathtub. I think his like wife was like shooting it, and it was pretty great. Highly recommend. Jimmy Fallon did the same thing. Like there's a great part where he was asking his daughter like, "Hey, do you want to?" She was like the band for him, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to get on the drums?" And she was just like, "No." It was awesome. So yeah, it's great that they're a really great resource to make it kind of feel like steer us through this and bring some levity to everything that's going on.
Yeah, and just keep moving right along. The big news last week that happened while we were live, and actually Anna wins the bet for how many attendees would be at NAB this year. The answer was 0. There is no NAB this year. It got canceled. That's the second largest convention in Las Vegas every year, and it will not be happening. It was obviously very sad. There's a lot of marketing opportunities, a lot of interaction. What's the word I'm looking for when you meet with multiple?
Networking.
What an idea.
It's not just the internet, it's people.
Not just the internet. We should make t-shirts that say networking. It's not just the internet.
I love it.
So obviously that's a huge loss for the industry, but there have been a couple different brands who have been posting about having some sort of virtual conference or whatnot. Stay tuned to what Ready Take Live is going to do when it comes to NAB. So I think that there will still be a lot of opportunity coming out of that, as sad as it is, and just realizing the kind of state that the world is in.
Yeah, and it's like the National Association of Broadcasters, so hopefully we'll be able to figure out how to broadcast.
Make new content.
Yeah, right.
Everybody's sort of sick at home. I know there's like a big push also, like kind of coming out of that that world, like in terms of, I don't want to get too political, but there's like been a lot of push for the people that unfortunately have suffered from sort of the lack of work, so to speak. And I'm feeling it for the people that are working in film and television right now who've had to stop, like The Bachelorette had to stop their taping for this whole situation, but it's bigger than just one convention, as we all know.
Yeah, and I think what's important too is like to remember the artists and the people making media, because soon we're gonna run out of reruns if we're in quarantine, right? Like we got to think about the artists who are making all the content that we're consuming and is bringing us joy while we're stuck at home. So I think it's important to remember the entertainment industry as well.
Yeah, and I would say that what happens if the Bachelorette finds love outside of the Bachelor's provided
Wait,
her with?
did you hear about Big Brother Germany? Their Big Brother's going on, and it's like you're cut off from the world, and they have no idea what's going on outside right now. They're just like in a reality show, just like I don't know if they told them yet, but there was like a whole thing where like we're gonna tell them live, and they're gonna learn the news about the pandemic going on around them. Well, they're like technically safe in the house, so like
chilling in a hot tub.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, they're like
probably the safest group of individuals.
Yeah.
What about the crew? Does Big Brother crew not come and go from that set?
They try to keep it out loud, but they've been told apparently in the like one of the latest episodes what's going on. So I haven't checked that out yet, but I'd love to see what their reaction is because I read a book that kind of had that in it, so I'm excited to see how real life compares.
Oh,
wow. Esports.
Esports.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Esports are really an interesting time right now because right now there's not a lot of regular sports. So here's a clip from NBA 2K, which is already a big esports following. So I'm really interested to see how they're going to be able to broadcast, because honestly, I think they're in the best position to do it over actual sports because no players need to come into contact with each other. And there's a lot of precedence here. I don't know if anyone follows Fortnite, but last year they had a huge tournament that was done completely remotely with 100 players happening simultaneously in different parts of the world. So they would overlap a little bit with each other, but that was like a really, really great production, how they were able to manage all of those feeds and remote signals and stuff. So esports is in a really interesting position right now to kind of take over where sports won't be able to fill the void.
Yeah, certainly. I know we had cancellations with Formula One for the 2020 season. So there was the not Australian GP, which was hosted by several different iRacers, including Lando Norris, who is a Formula One driver and constant Twitch streamer. He actually broke the record on Twitch on Sunday for most concurrent viewers, and had, I think, 1.5 million viewers on his stream, which lasted about 2.5 hours. And I believe next weekend or this weekend, they'll be doing the not Bahrain Grand Prix. So they're following along with what would be happening with the Formula One schedule.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's like now people, and like what Steam had like the highest number of like users. They smashed a record, like 20 million users on Sunday. Like gaming and like these sort of other ventilation points for people to sort of be entertained, whether it be in live streaming or like just a game on their computer. It's interesting to see where people are landing and how everybody's going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as all of this is coming out and you're hearing more and more news, I want you to know that we are here for you, whether that is a remote solution or you want to comment on YouTube and you have some questions, or you want to reach out to us at contact@livex.tv. Please feel free. We are taking safety precautions for everyone in the studio right now. There's a lot of cleaning going on. There's a lot of other things that we're taking care of. So I want you to know that we're taking all the necessary precautions, and we want to be here for as long as possible for you guys. So, feel free to comment with anything that you're doing in the meantime to provide entertainment or to provide communication and, an ability to interact with people even when we're not allowed to be within 6 feet of each other. Speaking of ability to interact and communicate and learn new things, there's also a lot of softwares that are offering free trials for an extended period of time right now.
Yeah, so things like Zoom and Google Hangouts are offering some kind of free service, either whether it's like the basic version but not an upgraded version they're offering for free. I know Google Hangouts is saying people can use a higher up version. And then a lot of people are taking an opportunity that people want to learn new skills while they're in their homes. So I know Vectorworks has some courses, ETC has courses out there that you could learn from. I know Photoshop or Adobe is offering a 2-month trial free for everyone. So it's like $100 normally. So it's really, really great seeing all these companies not take advantage of the captive audience they have right now and actually give people free things and encourage them to still develop themselves personally while they might not be able to completely professionally.
That's fantastic. I know that I want to take advantage of that. I know I have a bunch of friends who would love to take advantage of that opportunity. I mean, everyone's stuck at home, so you might as well do something with the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So up next, we've got a new thing planned for our studio demo. So it's actually not happening in the studio behind me. It's happening across the hall in the gear room. And this week, our studio demo is going to show you the difference between SRT and Web RTC. So as you're figuring out what remote solution is best for you, check out what's next, this studio demo. Alrighty, this is myself and Corey Benke. Corey, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey Aubrey, what's going on? I'm over here in the gear room at LiveX. Can you hear me? Are you good?
Yes, I can hear you. So we are seeing Corey through a Web RTC signal right now, seeing and hearing him through Web RTC.
All right. Yep, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I'm in the gear room over here. We're actually on Fios internet, so we're not connected via anything but consumer internet. We did this on purpose so we could see the remotes. So Dylan's going to actually pan the camera over so you guys can see. If you want to take me full, you can, Aubrey, or you can just see, our studio setup. So we have a remote setup over here.
Sorry, Walsh.
We've got Nick doing some stuff. Dylan's going to come back to me. Oh, good. I just want everybody to know we're on Fios internet. We're connected over Fios back to the studio. So even though it's across the hallway, we're currently on Fios internet. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. And right now we're using Web RTC using vMix. So we're actually using a production bot. You can go to productionbot.net, running vMix, and both of these feeds are coming to the MCR via 2 different feeds. So I'm going to talk about the differences. A lot of people are kind of confused. Our own content director, Aaron Nagler, who has been using it for like a year, both systems, was a little confused. And I realized that people don't understand the differences and what you get. So we're going to try to do this explainer demo. So Aubrey, if you want to take the keynote. So we'll take the first keynote. So here is our studio with Web RTC remote contributor. So we're going to talk about 2 different ways to remote contribute currently using vMix. You can take the next slide. So Web RTC is a video call, so it's a lot like Skype, and it's a lot like Google Hangouts, and it's a lot like even Zoom quality. It's a little bit different than Zoom, but WebRTC is in vMix. We can actually send a link to anyone so they can take their laptop. It's easy to get contribution. Anybody can kind of do it. Once the link's activated, they see a browser, they see program. It's all set up for them. The way vMix has set up vMix Interview, which uses WebRTC, is really actually kind of nice. It's how you're seeing Anna today in the show. So the contributor's webcam, microphone, and speakers are activated. The contributor's feed can be brought into the video switcher like any other input. So let's go to the next slide. So then you have SRT. So SRT stands for Secure Reliable Transport, and it is codec agnostic. So it's low latency, just like WebRTC. You can adjust the latency, which is kind of nice. I'm going to go over like the differences. We ship a device to the contributor's location, typically a production bot in this case, or sometimes a high-vision Makito. A broadcast camera connects to the device. The signal's transmitted to the location and then brought into a switcher like any other input. It's more secure, it's higher quality, but there's a bigger labor, it's more labor intensive. And we can transmit multiple cameras for live switching remotely, which is really exciting because I'm going to go over that, but that's how we did the US Open. And here you can see we did Green Bay training camp. We set up multiple cameras in Green Bay, and then in our New York control room, we were able to bring back the feeds and within 1 frame latency, switch, encode, audio mix, direct, and get everything going on the other side. So it's really exciting. So I want to go over the different matrices. I have a matrix set up a little bit. This is matrix side-by-side comparison. So WebRTC, very low latency, sub 1 second. It's browser-based. It's easy to contribute. vMix offers a guest view for the back, so you just need a laptop and that's it. It's designed for video conferencing, speed over quality. Bandwidth used is defined and then made variable based on available. So what that means is it's a peer-based solution. So as your bandwidth changes, it variable, so you could have crappier qualities. You'll see that in some of our, if you look at Ready Take Lives from the past, you'll see either the operator was on Wi-Fi, the guest was on Wi-Fi, the guest was on Ethernet. If they're on Ethernet, it's a lot better, or their speed drops in their bandwidth, and WebRTC kind of adjusts and is variable. So then you have SRT. It's low latency, but you can adjust the latency so that you can get more reliability on the transport side. So it's sub 7 seconds, sub 0.7 seconds, so sub 1 second still. It's still about a 1 second delay when you get it all matched up nice, and we're going to show you that in a second. It requires hardware to encode and decode. It can be broadcast quality. Now here's the hotness, okay? This is what I love about it. I love that it's a satellite, or you're doing satellite or fiber over IP, which is really awesome, and the quality can be really nice. I'm going to show you that in a second. The bandwidth used can be set, and you can adjust the variables based on your last mile and your first mile. But also it has the ability to time sync multiple feeds, which is really nice. So if you send a game feed or you send a game feed and a POV feed, you can match the cameras within 1 frame of latency, which is really, really, really nice. So here are the different, both of them side by side. So now we're going to do, Aubrey and I are going to do a 3-box demo so you can kind of see. So right now I'm on WebRTC. So we're going to go to a 3-box. Okay, so the box in the middle, I hope, is WebRTC. And you are hearing my audio over WebRTC, and you're seeing the video on SRT. So Dylan's going to confirm and give me the thumbs up because I freak out about things like this because I'm a live producer and that's just what I do. I'm like a freak out machine. My entire staff hates me right now. But hey, we're live. Here we go. So you're seeing this, and I'm just talking right now so you kind of get a sense of what it's like. And as you can see, so Dylan's confirming to me that the video in the middle is crappier than the video on the right, but you can see a little bit of a delay on the video on the right. Okay, great. That was about a minute. People can see that. I'm going to wave my hands around. I'm going to do some like crazy encoding's going to happen. All right, and then now we're going to switch over. And we're going to actually, I'm going to hear myself, which is going to be crazy. I'm going to hear myself in a little bit of a delay. So now Aubrey's going to take the time, and we're going to switch over. And once you see the graphics switched over, you're going to see SRT in the middle of me and my audio. And then on the right, you'll see WebRTC. So whenever she has the time to do that, and then we'll do the same thing.
Cool. So we're going to switch sides. I'm going to switch Corey's audio over. And now we've got SRT in the middle, and his SRT audio is hot.
Okay, and then Dylan, you're going to confirm that. All right, and then Dylan confirm I've got better in the middle. There we go. And then once it switches over, Dylan's going to give me the thumbs up. He's looking at me like, what are you talking about? I didn't know I was part of this. So now I'm going to give you like a little bit of more encoding. You can see television quality versus Web RTC. Now I am a little bit more delayed on SRT, but again, you can adjust the variable on SRT. And then also, I just want you guys to know, so Web RTC was 2 megabits. So you're looking at 2 megabit on Web RTC and approximately 4 megabit on SRT. We did 6, and then we brought it down to 4. So you could see that the quality was a little bit better. You good, Dylan? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So he's not looking at me angrily, so I think we're good. You know, Makozy's really busy right now. I don't know what he's doing. But again, I'm talking, and I'm just showing you so you can see the demo of like what the difference is for this demo. Now, we're going to do a 2-box. And we're going to show our friends at NBA 2K. We're going to show NBA 2K. We've got Steam running on a laptop. So Makozy's going to switch out. You're going to hopefully hear my voice. But you're going to see NBA 2K. Then Aubrey's going to put that in a 2-box.
Yeah, let's go ahead and lose those SRT Web RTs. All right, here's our 2-box.
All right. So here you have this in a 2-box. You've got SRT on the left. You've got Web RTC on the right. Dylan's going to confirm that we're actually doing it right once he sees it. It's the only way I have is the back-end encode. And if you have any questions, you know, let us know. I can see it even how it's a little bit different. You can see the differences. Dylan, you good? Okay, cool. So those are for our friends doing video games. You can see the differences. Now, again, there's a little bit more latency. I'm hearing myself on the back, so I can hear myself. We can always mix minus and get that out of there. But this was just a way for us to do the demo. We're going to do some more playback footage so you can see the differences. And again, any questions you have, please let us know in the comments. So, Aubrey, we can go back to you and I.
Right, let's go ahead and lose the SRT Web RTC
Hey, it's me.
labels.
What's up?
All right, we've got SRT in the middle still, and we're still listening to Corey on SRT.
Great. Awesome. So, you know, we have been using, so again, we've used SRT for US Open. So we did 8 feeds back to New York. And we use Web RTC to contribute guests. So you can also use SRT to contribute guests. So Cheesehead TV, USGA, Ready Take Live, Fubo. We use all of these things depending on the guest contribution and the tools that they have and how much money you want to spend on your production. You can actually make stuff look better than web conferencing, which is the whole point. Right now, we're in this world where everybody wants to do just web conferencing and make some stuff happen. And a lot of people don't understand that the quality can really increase with a little bit of technological know-how.
So then I would ask, as a viewer at home, WebRTC is an open source protocol. So if I had a company that wanted to make its own, then we could make our own. Is the same with SRT?
Yeah. So basically what happened was Haivision and Wowza got together and they made SRT an open source platform. And Haivision was the first. Thanks, Dylan's going to fix my camera because it's really bothering me right now.
Thanks, Dylan.
So Haivision made the
Unsung
first. Thanks,
hero.
Dylan. Appreciate you. Can't do that remotely. So Haivision was the first. They
If you
came
have
out
a
with the
PTZ
Makito
camera,
X.
you can use softwares to control them remotely.
Yep. So Haivision came out with Makitos, and then the NFL Network. So something for everyone to know is that NFL Network all contribution guests in the last, I think, like 18 months, 2 years. I might be wrong on my timeline, but most contribution from NFL Coliseums is using SRT now. Now, the benefit of it, again, is it can operate over public internet. That's the difference. You don't need MPLS. You don't need some dedicated fiber circuit, right? We do have dedicated internet over there, but we don't have to have that in order for SRT to work. Right now, I'm on Fios, and I'm on, it's a pretty beefy, it's like 150 up. You need at least 4 megabytes to get something really nice. 5 to 15 is kind of like the money sweetness. So you need some bandwidth to do it. So if you have lower bandwidth, you'd use Web RTC.
Awesome. I think we're going to see a lot more of this in the next couple weeks. This has been great. Thank you for doing this, Corey.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you setting everything up today. And please let us know if you have any questions in the chat.
Awesome. Thanks, Walsh. We can lose the SRT and Web RTC logos. Back to me. Thanks for watching another studio demo. As always, they're not always in the studio now. So get excited about that. And Corey, your mic is clear, so you can now say whatever you want. Alrighty, thank you guys for watching that. If you have any questions about SRT, about WebRTC, please feel free to comment on Facebook right now. And then if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube or another channel, please feel free to comment. We always reply to those as well. So, like we said, Anna is calling in on WebRTC right now. She is our remote contributor today. How is everything in Queens, Anna?
Queens is good. You know, sun's shining, the cat's chill. It's home.
No zoomies yet?
No zoomies yet during a business call.
Good.
What's a zoomie?
We do have a...
It's like...
Oh, it's a thing that animals do where they just
okay.
go crazy and they run around and they jump.
Oh, I've never heard it called zoomies. That's cute. I like that. That's a very good description for what it is, too.
Yep.
Yeah. We do have a comment from Tal. And the question is, how simple is it for a user to send a feed via WebRTC? Could a Twitch streamer send a feed via a stream key?
So right now, the platforms don't really support WebRTC or SRT. They use, if you want low latency, they have some, like YouTube has some low latency options. Twitch does too, but it's still over RTMP. Right now, I think a lot of the big social platforms need to figure out how to scale this up. So it's totally possible to use WebRTC or SRT for first mile, last mile. I know OBS just added the ability to send an SRT output. So I think that is definitely down the road. But right now, in order to hit YouTube or something, WebRTC won't work. But I'm sure, as we all know, RTMP is hashtag canceled. So we're gonna see. We're gonna have to go somewhere else. So instead of HLS, I could totally see us doing SRT or WebRTC for that.
Charlie has a great question, and it's a conversation we have all the time. If you're bringing on a remote guest that are lay people, you have to use vMix call /WebRTC, yeah? It's too complicated to set up an SRT feed. And I would say yes. If you want it to be really simple, I like vMix call because, you know, your people who do not work in the industry with us, if they can use Zoom, they can definitely do vMix call. Because you don't have to download anything. It's just a button that you click and it opens your browser and kind of takes care of everything from that point on. You guys agree?
Yeah, definitely, because SRT involves a lot of IT and traversing firewalls and stuff. So it definitely for a layperson, SRT brings a couple new challenges. However, because it's like open commons, people will be able to develop applications, and we're really excited to see what stuff people come up with. Because I can imagine, oh, here, just install this software, and it'll just take care of figuring out what your IP address is and setting up a port for you and stuff. Because most people on their home internets don't have crazy security that prevents that kind of stuff. So it should be pretty easy to set up to be an application, and I'm sure people are working on that as we speak. But for right now, the most plug-and-play solution is definitely vMix call.
Yeah, and speaking of vMix, I think they've made it a lot more digestible. I know I was sort of afraid of like what SRT sort of meant in terms of like using high vision, and like those are the guys who developed it. But Tim and Martin have made a really good sort of amount of documentation and videos on how to use SRT in vMix 23. Which was a huge step up from 22 in terms of the ability to stream SRT, and that's how we brought Corey's feed in today. We didn't actually have to. We just were able to use vMix and be able to switch a show all in one, and take Anna's remote call on vMix. So you know, in that sense, it is open source. It's becoming a lot easier for us to sort of integrate all those different things into our production. It's just a matter of like, how much do we have to communicate to the person on the other side?
Yeah, totally. And what's also really great with vMix is because out of the box, it could be either an encoder or a decoder. A lot of hardware solutions, you'll need to buy both. But with vMix, it's a software solution, but you get both encoders and decoders as soon as you buy it. So that's definitely a really great way to save money if you're going to try to invest in SRT.
Yeah, I mean, you can bring in how many? I mean, almost 1,000 like decode. I mean, it depends on your CPU.
Yeah, totally.
Capabilities, right?
Yeah, so yeah, it's like
decodes, but you can do at least like two decoded feeds over SRT.
Yeah.
And then on like I don't know, what do you think we could do on a production bot? Probably 4.
Yeah, probably 4. I'd love to do the experiment to kind of push it to its limits and see how it breaks. And what's great about SRT is it's codec agnostic, so you can do H.264, HEVC. So you, depending on whatever processor you're using, whatever floats its boat, will work for you. So
is Web RTC its own codec?
Cool. I think it only works over H.264.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Because a lot of I mean, I think the biggest drawback in terms of like picture quality would probably be like the sort of blockiness that WebRTC has in terms of like the amount of compression that it throws down, and as we talked about during the demo, that often has to do with like the bandwidth that is being provided. Most of the time, that's being automated by WebRTC applications.
WebRTC is VP9 and VP8.
Yeah. Charlie has another good question. He says, does SRT have the potential to replace extensive remote camera options like Live View?
Yeah, so it's I could imagine LiveView creating the capability to send WebRTC over it, but LiveView primarily is a bonded cellular, so that's like a solution if you don't have internet at all. WebRTC and SRT do require internet, so you could probably use LiveView on WebRTC if you use the AP that comes with, or like plug in the Ethernet to it, and then use another application to run it, and then you could run WebRTC through a LiveView that way, but you'll need something on the other end to receive it. So you still need another software solution with it, but I could totally see them wanting to create a mobile SRT solution, a WebRTC solution. That has to be down the line for sure. I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been announced at NAB this year. So maybe we'll see it this year sometime.
Yep.
Oh, and one correction to WebRTC. It's not H.264. It's either VP8 or VP9 for the codec for that.
There you go. Yeah, the other part about it is that most of those sort of drop down like bonded cellular options, usually they create their own network. So I imagine tunneling like a port to set up our SRT couldn't be that difficult, but you're not really using the capabilities of the live view per se as it stands right now, at least from what I understand. Like I'm just trying to think of like the mobile viewpoint solution that we have. Like you can create your own network with that. And I'm sure that you can tunnel your way through whatever sort of firewall setup there is. I'm sure they don't want you to do that. But those are like already ultra low latent solutions that are usually using like RTMP, I believe. At least from what I've seen in our setup, like it'll ping a server and then it'll come back down to our decoder. So yeah, I think that's definitely the future, like doing more point-to-point sort of solutions over public internet, like SRT. And
yeah, great questions. I know. Yeah, I mean, these are some really great questions. I know I could talk about this and pretty much do talk about this all day right now. But that's pretty much it for chat.
Cool.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you for all your questions. That's great. We love hearing from you guys, obviously, especially in a time like this. This is how we can communicate through social streaming, and we're happy to be a part of it. So keep looking for more Ready Take Live in the coming weeks. We'll be more remote, possibly, just depending on what the government tells us to do. Before we go, though, we obviously have our last and wonderful segment, Fail No More. This might seem really obvious right now, but we had this written down for Fail No More a very long time ago. Always have hand sanitizer on set, and make sure you're taking care of any sick crew members. You don't want them on set to infect anybody else. Set is a very close-knit group, And the closer you are, the more likely you are to get sick. So keep that in mind. Walsh, did you also want to talk about something funny that happened with the fail this week?
Yeah, so this was during the presidential address last week, and this is like goes back to another. Did we do this Fail No More? I don't remember if we did, but like if you have a mic on you, always assume you're hot, that people can listen to you, because with the presidential address, there was some audio. C-SPAN went early and stayed on a little bit late.
Before you hit it, just viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised. So let's take a listen.
You have a what? Oh, fuck. Uh-oh. I got a pen mark. Anybody have any white? Do you have any white stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna, it's much better to just close it. I think it
Does anyone have any white stuff?
Yeah, I think he meant like a Tide to Go pen.
Yep,
So yeah.
He did.
Yeah. So that's a great case in
Reminder.
point. Yeah, that like if you have a mic on you, just pretend you're hot.
Which is what Anna has had to do all morning while we've been testing with her.
Yeah, right.
Thank you, Anna. With the friendly reminders that it was from the Brita filter. You were just filling up your water bottle.
Oh my god.
If we can't laugh about it, then what can we do, folks?
Exactly.
All that's left.
Exactly. All
Stay
right.
hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Yes, exactly. Stay hydrated. Take your vitamins, all the good things. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Ready Take Live. And as always, best of luck on your next live production.